The Pittsburgh Steelers are in a precarious position if they don't get this year's draft right. They ended the 2024 season going 10-7, second in their division, and lost to the leader of their division, the Baltimore Ravens, in the wild card round 14-28. Mike Tomlin has been the Steelers head coach since 2007. He has won one Super Bowl and attended two. He has never had a losing season. He averaged 10 wins per year in his tenure as the Steelers head coach, which is very impressive in its own right, but unfortunately, due to poor drafting from the previous general manager, Kevin Colbert, Tomlin was only able to do so much with this team. By this, I mean that in recent years, the Steelers have always been making it to the wild card round, but not any further. The new GM, Omar Khan, has been making great strides to try to fix up the team to get them back up to Super Bowl status and win the Pittsburgh Steelers their 7th Super Bowl ring. Khan's first draft in 2023 saw him take Broderick Jones, Joey Porter Jr., Keanu Benton, Darnell Washington, Nick Herbig, Corey Trice, and Spencer Anderson. A very solid draft class, starting with an attempt to upgrade the offensive line, tight end, the secondary, defensive lineman, and edge. Khan's second draft class saw him take Troy Fautanu, Zach Frazier, Peyton Wilson, Roman Wilson, Mason McCormick, and Ryan Watts. This draft showed how much Khan wanted to upgrade the offensive line, as 3 out of the Steelers' 6 draft picks were linemen. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to see the full capabilities of these 2 draft classes due to injuries. Troy Fautanu, Roman Wilson, and Ryan Watts all missed the 2024 season due to injury. Corey Trice tore his ACL during the 2023 training camp, but he appears to be a capable starter when on the field. Of the 10 players that stayed healthy during the 2023 and 2024 draft class, all have either been above average starters or higher end backups on the team. Even those who didn't get drafted by the Steelers have been making a great impact, such as Beanie Bishop Jr., who caught 2 interceptions against the Jets, bringing home a win for the Steelers, or Jaylen Warren, the current starting RB1 for the Steelers. So, where is it going wrong for the Steelers? I think the problem stems from 3 core areas: the lack of capability from the Steelers coordinators, playing down to the competition, and poor draft decisions from 2018 to 2022. Is it possible to fix the Pittsburgh Steelers, or is it too late? How many of the 38 draft picks the Steelers have made from 2018 to 2022 have been starting caliber or a serviceable backup and are still in the NFL? The answer, 12 players. Mason Rudolph, Alex Highsmith, Kevin Dotson, Najee Harris, Pat Freiermuth, Dan Moore, Buddy Johnson, Isaiah Loudermilk, George Pickens, Calvin Austin, and Connor Hayward. 31.5% of the draft picks fit those qualifications. And of those 12 players, 7 are still on the Steelers. This means that 18% of the draft picks for the Steelers from 2018 to 2022 are still on the team and at a minimum of second string. This is not a good look for the Steelers. It is the reason for the high importance of the past few drafts, including this upcoming one. This current draft has 4 principal needs that must be addressed. Those needs are wide receiver, quarterback, running back, and defensive line. The first of these needs was addressed this offseason when the Steelers traded a second-round pick for DK Metcalf. On top of that, they drafted Roman Wilson in the 3rd round of the 2024 draft. I like the trade, and I'm very happy to see a competent Steelers wide receiver room for the first time since Antonio Brown and Juju Smith-Schuster. And now you have the Pittsburgh Steelers' biggest need, in my opinion, and that is a franchise quarterback. The Steelers have been trying to find a quarterback to lead their team ever since Big Ben retired back in 2022. And we tried with drafting Kenny Pickett, but that didn't work. And so now we are in this situation where our starting quarterback is Mason Rudolph and our backup quarterback is Skylar Thompson. But in this draft, we can address this by either drafting Shedeur Sanders, Jackson Dart, or Jalen Milroe. I like Mason Rudolph. I like him a lot. He's a high-tier backup and a low-tier starter, but he's not the Steelers' future. I think that the Steelers can draft a quarterback in any of the first 4 rounds of this draft who could potentially be our quarterback of the future. It's simply a matter of choosing the right one. In the 2024 NFL season, the Pittsburgh Steelers offense ranked 29th in passing, with 29 passing attempts per game, according to ProFootballReference.com. They had 195.3 passing yards per game, placing them 26th in the league, according to TeamRankings.com. Is some of that because of Arthur Smith and a run-heavy offense? Yes, but it is also due to the poor quarterback situation. Russell Wilson refused to use the middle of the field, allowing for an ease of defense against the Steelers' weak offense. I think the Steelers can go quarterback in the first or second round and get a good starter or a franchise quarterback. Trading back in the first round would be my favorite option, as it would earn more draft capital in a season where we don't have a lot and ultimately get us into the second round. The third need for the Pittsburgh Steelers is defensive tackle. Cam Hayward is nearing the end of his career, and after a 2024 season where he played really well, we need someone to sit behind him, learn, and develop. Keanu Benton has been alright, but nowhere near the player the Steelers need him to be as a successor to Hayward. The Steelers need to make sure to hit on a defensive tackle in this draft, or our run defense is just going to get progressively worse. I'm a fan of Jamari Caldwell from Oregon. This means that we could focus on quarterbacks and running backs in the first and third rounds and spend the fourth round on Caldwell. We can focus our following picks on either depth at defensive line or other positions. The final major need for the Steelers is running back. The Steelers moved on from Najee Harris after 4 years in Pittsburgh. He rushed for over 1,000 yards in all 4 seasons, averaging 3.9 yards per carry. He's an alright running back, but I think the Steelers are trying to leave the way of consistency and steadiness and go for the ground pound formula, explosive plays that worked so well for us when we had Franco Harris, Jerome Bettis, and Le'Veon Bell as our running backs. In this draft, the Steelers are looking for a power back who excels in the outside zone scheme, which is what Arthur Smith runs. Zone running plays, especially outside zone running plays, can strongly reward athletic runners who are able to adjust on the fly and show their athleticism. Having great vision means identifying where there are cutback opportunities to increase net yardage on the play. Jaylen Warren's vision and athleticism allows him to succeed in this offense way better than Najee Harris did. I think that Najee is a good running back who was never fully utilized, but I feel like Najee's lack of ability to succeed in this offense was also due to his lack of vision, which was necessary. Thus, I believe the Steelers will focus on getting a running back in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, or 7th round. Our coordinator situation has not been in a great position over the past couple of years. Matt Canada was the offensive coordinator from 2020 to 2023. For reference, that was the first time since 1941 that a coach or coordinator on the Steelers was fired midseason. Our average offensive ranking under him was 23rd, 22nd for points scored, and 24th in yards. In comparison, for our 1 year with Arthur Smith, our offense went to 16th in points scored and 23rd in yards. This isn't a major improvement in yards, but an increase of 6 ranks in terms of points is certainly indicative of something. Our defensive coordinator, Terrell Austin, is frankly one of the worst in the league. Hired in 2022, his defense had an average ranking of 18th of 32. In comparison, the previous defensive coordinator, Keith Butler, had an average ranking of 11th of 32 across 7 seasons. What makes Austin a poor coordinator is his lack of imagination when it comes to scheming. The Pittsburgh Steelers' blitz rate in the 2024 season was 29%, which was the 4th lowest rate since 2014 and a decrease from the 31.2% blitz rate in 2023. Their overall blitz rate was below average, particularly on third downs, at a 16.9%, the 3rd lowest in the league, which is not what you want out of a defense, especially because third down is when typically you are supposed to blitz to create pressure and force a turnover. TJ Watt, the team's best player and one of the best defensive players in the league, went from having a 19-sack season to an 11.5 sack season because Austin refused to scheme around the fact that Watt was getting double-teamed every play. To make matters worse, the run defense was absolutely atrocious. Looking at the stats, in 2024, we were the 6th ranked team in terms of rushing yards allowed. And that sounds awesome, right? But we could have been so much better. And keep in mind, it's only because that we were able to do really well at the beginning of this season that our ranking is so high. Austin refused to acknowledge that teams were running away from TJ Watt because every time they ran towards him, it was a tackle for loss or a dead play. Watt's run defense rank was number 1 across all edges with a score of 91.4. So, I believe that if we can get some more creative ideas from both Arthur Smith and Terrell Austin, or get a new coordinator for our defense, because I do believe in Arthur Smith, but at least defensive coordinator-wise, I do not believe in Terrell Austin. But if we can get some more creative ideas from them to take the next step up in 2025, we can win a playoff game. Overall, the Steelers are a very talented team. You got George Pickens, you got TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, Nick Herbig, Zach Frazier, Troy Fatanu, Mason McCormick, Jalen Warren, Minka Fitzpatrick, Joey Porter Jr., Beanie Bishop Jr., Corey Trice, Deshaun Elliott. So many very good players. And Mike Tomlin is a very, very good coach. But Tomlin has a problem with playing down to his opponents. This past year, the Steelers lost 7 games, and only 3 of these losses were to playoff teams. That means that 4 losses were to non-playoff teams, and that's simply unacceptable. Tomlin needs to step it up and not play down to opponents who didn't make the playoffs. There is little they can do besides creating stronger game plans, scheming better, and making better halftime adjustments. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. Please leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed. I'm going to be doing more stuff like this, as well as some movie and TV reviews. Really just honestly whatever comes to my mind, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much.